My next guest is Maxim Sokov. He is the Deputy Chief Executive and Director for Corporate Strategy and Development at United Company Rusal. He is also a board member at Norilsk Nickel. Maxim, good to have you with us on Bloomberg.
Thank you very much.
Can you explain this labyrinth of shareholding and what the confrontation that exists? Because your company owns 25% of Norilsk Nickel.
Correct.
What is the contention?
The contention is actually about what's happening with the company. It's not a battle between Rusal and other shareholders. It's more a battle for improvement of the company, for improvement of the corporate governance. Rusal is one of the shareholders. We hold 25%. There is another big shareholder, Interros Group, with an ultimate beneficial ownership of Vladimir Potanin. And there are some other shareholders. The story behind it is that since Rusal has acquired its stake back in 2008, Interros was quite hostile to us acquiring the stake because we bought it from Michael Prokhorov, and a former partner of Vladimir Potanin and Interros.
Why are they hostile to you having a quarter of the company?
Because from the beginning they wanted to acquire the stakes themselves, this stake from an Maxim group of Michael Prokhorov. But finally we ended up owning the stake. So they've introduced their management in the company, which is now playing on their side and using the balance sheet of the company for the benefit of one shareholder rather than using it for the benefit of all shareholders. And pretty much that is the core of the conflict.
So what would you like to see done in terms of, as you describe it, using the balance sheet? What would you like to see the company doing in terms of development or growth that it isn't doing?
We believe there are very simple steps which have to be done. First of all, the company should dispose all of its non-core assets. And at the moment, a key non-core assets on the balance sheet is the quasi-treasury shares. Unlike in
Treasury shares.
Treasury, they are quasi-treasury. They are owned by the subsidiary, not by the company itself. And unlike in Western jurisdictions, where the quasi-treasury shares which are held by the subsidiaries cannot be voted, in Russia they are voted by the management. And this adds an additional situation where the management is interested, and the other big shareholder, which controls the management, is interested to use the balance sheet of the company to get more shares on the company's balance sheet.
So in other words, it gives them greater control, and you don't think that they should be using those shares?
Absolutely, because that's the great control which they get using the money of all shareholders, not their own money. For example, Interros has increased their interest from 25% to 30%. That is fine. They're using their own balance sheet, they're using their own money to acquire and increase their stake. If they want to control the company, they should use their own money to go to the market and buy the additional shares.
And you're saying that they're using the company's money in order to do this. Maxim, I'm just curious, what's it like to be on the board and go to these board meetings when clearly not everybody around the board seems to even agree with each other as to the direction of the company? Because you're saying, you've got this, at least not argument, but at least you have a different view of the company and the way that they use their balance sheet with another shareholder that owns at least 30% of the company.
That's quite tough. I can tell you it's quite tough. Especially it's difficult in a situation when 7 out of 13 directors are acting together in alliance. So pretty much you understand they're bringing up good initiatives to improve transparency of the company, to improve corporate governance, but all of them are voted down by this alliance. And pretty much the tough part is that even after a discussion at the board, so we have quite heated discussions in the boardroom, but the outcome of the voting is simple, 7 against 6, always a majority. So that is a situation against which we are trying to fight at the upcoming annual meeting, which is on June 21st, is that the goal is that each of the shareholders, both Interros and Rusal, have significant representation at the board, let's say 3 directors or 4 directors, but no control. and the control rests with the independent directors. And if such independent directors take side, they would effectively decide what is right and wrong for the company. And if one of the sides bring up some decision, so if they decide it's right, they just vote for it, and then that decision is approved. It's not how it works now.
So, as we were talking during the break, why not just sell your 25% stake and do something else with the money? It sounds like a huge headache.
Indeed, but at the same time, what you're going to be doing with the money? We already had 3 offers from the other side. Interros offered us $9 billion back in October 2010. Then the company offered us $12 billion for 25% in December, and then another offer was for $12.8 billion for 20% in March or February, and then in March. And however, we believe in this company. We believe that it's a first-class asset, and if you sell it, it's hard to buy something of this quality.
All right, I want to thank you very much, Maxim Sokov. He is the Deputy Chief Executive of United Company Rusal.